I scored a free coffee from Doug, the bouncer guy.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
I'll get one when we're done. No problem.
Okay. How do you take your? Are you a tea guy at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have my tea bags in my bag right there.
Well, what do you have a favorite tea then?
Mint. So I can't tell my English people this because they will disown me. Because it's natural tea with milk over there, and that's
Sure.
what it
Yeah.
has always been until about really probably when I started doing this, I was wanting to just have something for my throat. And
Oh,
all
right.
that.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I started going that way, and then it's all now I never have regular tea with milk. My wife does, but I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll do the mint tea, the throat coat tea, sleepy tea at night.
So I do. That's what I do. So I'm kind of a tea guy, and
Yeah.
I do the sleepy tea.
Yeah.
Or they've got the. I forget the names of these. There's there are a few of them. Actually.
Yeah, well, I've got the immune sleepy tea I've been doing lately because I don't want to get sick in this time of year.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
busy for that. So
No. Yeah.
yeah, my wife just brings an assortment and I love it.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's really good.
Lavender.
Okay, lavender.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Earl Grey is another one just because of Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise.
Right.
So, which is
Yeah.
tasty. It's a tasty.
Yeah. It's,
herb.
not me, but yeah. So all that kind of tea, all the flavored tea without the milk.
Okay,
these
no milk.
days.
I've never tried it with milk. I mean, I'm a creamer guy, so it
Yeah.
shouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
But just never had it with milk.
Well, it's funny because when I came over here and I asked for a tea, they brought me an iced tea.
Oh, Lipton.
I'm like, what is going on?
Lipton. Well,
Blasphemy.
Sorry about that. On behalf of the United States of America. Sorry.
I do a funny story about Long Island iced tea. I thought, yeah. Well, I thought I was getting.
That's the good tea.
I was working for a restoration company, and I was in Virginia Beach, and this is way back when, 1998. And we go to the bar afterwards, and I'm like, I don't want alcohol. I just want some tea. And somebody said, oh, you should have try a Long Island iced tea. I thought they were being nice, not knowing it was full of
It's like,
alcohol.
oh, it's a local thing. And they put booze in it.
Hey guys, how do I
course.
sound?
You
Lovely.
sound
As good
good.
as your hair.
Oh, well, then that's really good. And
All right.
we're recording all the...
Everything's set. We are live now with we're not live, but we're recording. Everything
Yeah.
is hot now.
Nice.
Okay, everything's
So,
hot.
all right.
Well, let's do our intro and stuff. Let's do this.
Just be mindful that they're recording everything that can be used against you.
Yeah.
Don't worry, nobody watches us anyways.
Rubbish.
It's all good.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Totally pre-recorded from the
Boys
Uptown
and girls.
Theater in Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City Night.
Children of all ages.
Hey,
I'm Brian Rice,
I'm Shannon Gieber.
and our guest tonight.
Who am I?
KC Group Therapy, Phil Collins Experience,
That's right.
and many other things that we're going to talk about. Terry Adams Jr., everybody.
Ladies and
Hello.
gentlemen,
Oh, hey. Thank you, man. This is great.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Right up here on the stage at the Uptown Theater.
we are
Gosh.
we are stepping it up.
Center stage, yeah.
Center stage.
Yeah, thank you so much for accommodating us.
This place is
with
pretty
this.
cool, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of 1928. I found out.
Don't mind me. I'm going to be moving around a lot during the interview.
That's around Steve's birthday.
Oh,
1928.
Poor Steve.
Hey, listen. He's gonna come. He's gonna
He'll
come
be
up here and
here.
kill me later. So
Thank you.
I gotta get him in now because.
Yeah. Well,
No, not yet. I'm just making fun of you.
you got a big show tonight. You got
Yeah.
big shows coming up. It's gonna be a big year, 2025 for you, man.
Yeah, it's been that way. I mean, last year was a big year. We started off the year in January in Florida. We did a tour of Florida
Okay.
down in Key West and all the way up and down, and then we ended the year in Puerto Rico. So
Yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, especially because you've shown me pictures of that, and that's just amazing, unbelievable. You sold it out.
it was beyond anything I could have done. I mean, I was dreaming about a lot going into it, and I couldn't have dreamt what it ended up being.
Hey.
It was that good.
You know that, and
The people there are
I'm-
just
oh.
amazing.
I'm sure they appreciated it so much down there with all they've been through lately. Just hungry for something. For
Well, the good. We make friends everywhere we go. There's always a new member of the Phil Collins family. Several everywhere we go. But we made a lot down there. I mean,
Yeah.
that place is absolutely beautiful. From flying in the scenery, the people, the people that brought us down there, the production company took care of us. It was just phenomenal.
how
yeah.
big is that venue in Puerto Rico?
How big is it? Well, it's an old fort. It's an old military fort.
Oh, well, hey,
And it's I mean, I couldn't tell you how square footage it is.
I'm
but
sorry, I meant the seat. How about
yeah,
that? Sorry.
I don't know, a couple of thousand.
Couple thousand?
But there's still,
Uh-huh.
but around the outside they had all the booths selling booze and different things going on.
So it was a party. It was a Phil Collins Experience party.
It was, and it was funny because actually I don't know if it was during sound check or just before sound check, the power went off in the town.
Oh,
which
no.
is apparently a thing that
Okay.
it does. But the production company are so used to that, they were prepared completely. They had all their own generators, and
Oh, good.
so they had this
Okay.
massive stage set up, massive lighting, and they were able to. They set up the lights just in case the power went off to light up the actual area itself, along with so people coming in they could see where they're going.
Yeah.
Because the whole town was blacked out except for that
Gosh.
particular fort. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So they were.
So we were getting
drunk,
changed.
having
We were
wine.
getting changed in the
Lit
dark.
up.
We were in the
Both.
toilets getting changed in the dark with our phone, the
Andre,
flashlight.
that's not the first time for that. No, I'm sorry. I'm
So,
kidding.
so now, Terry,
Yeah.
I don't know if you are aware of this, but you have an accent.
Well, I didn't think I had one anymore.
Do you mind telling us where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from a town called Bolton, and that's in northwest England, and just outside Manchester. So if it was here, it'd be an Olathe. It's about 20 minutes
Okay.
drive, and so yeah, it's not a city, but it's a big town. It's like 270,000 people, I think, in a small area because we all live on top of each other over there. So
You'd be built up.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need to drive anywhere, basically. So, but yeah, that's where I was born and raised, and I have a massive family over there, and so
And you get over there how frequently to go visit?
once a year at least. We were there. I was there twice last year. I always try and go late February, early March, because that's when my dad's birthday is.
Terry Adams Sr.
Terry
right?
Adams Sr.
Okay.
The Terry Adams.
The
The
Terry
Terry
Adams.
And I can't get over this year because we're too busy.
Right.
We're going to
Okay.
be in Florida. So I've got him and my Uncle Frank. And actually, people around here know Uncle Frank. He's become pretty infamous. But, but they're flying in to meet us
Okay.
in Florida. So
Okay.
when we're driving down there, most of the band's flying down to Key West. But
Okay.
I'm driving all the gear down there.
Oh, you're driving. Oh, road trip's nice. I've driven to Florida, and it's pretty.
It's what I
nice.
do. I drive
Yeah.
like tomorrow morning. I'm leaving. I'm going to Nevada. So with
Wow.
all the equipment.
Gosh. Yeah.
So how long are you usually when you do get back to England? How long are you usually there?
Not long usually. If I'm there more than a week, it's a shock.
Just long enough to recharge that accent, right?
Just long enough to need to come back for a rest. I mean, seriously, it's
Is it intense?
It's pretty intense. I mean, I went twice last year. I got over there early for my dad's birthday, and then I went back for my birthday in September, which I'd never. It's my first time spending my birthday in my hometown since I moved here 30 years. So I went back, and it was a flying visit. I took my wife and my stepdaughter with me, and I told them, I said, it's going to be a little crazy, but I schedule everything out so that we know what we're doing. We get off the plane, here's where we're going, this is what we're doing, getting all the family together, and we're going to. My brother's a professional soccer player, so you
wow.
got to go to the
Cool.
game, and get all crazy with those people.
For whom? Who?
He's from he just retired actually from. He's been with a few teams, and he's retired from the bigs. He's working on his coaching now, but he's gone to a lower level team, which is close to the house. So he can do both. And actually, the team that he's with is the team that he started his career with. And he just got back there, and it was a dream come true for him, actually, to come full
nice.
circle. And
Yeah.
so that's Bury. That's just up the street from Bolton. But Bolton Wanderers was, obviously our team growing up. So
Okay.
Just
Okay.
and anybody listens to this in Bolton, don't worry.
Wouldn't
So
that be great?
I imagine for you, the World Cup coming to Kansas City, is it going to be here?
Yeah,
Is it-
2026.
There's going to be
But it'll
games.
be Kansas
yeah.
City, right?
Yep,
It'll
Kansas
be-
City will
okay.
have, yeah.
At Arrowhead, yeah, there's going to be games. I know this because I've been trying to get my brother over here for the last 10 years. Oh, yeah, I'm coming. And then, I'm too busy.
That'll
You
do
know
it.
he's coming next year.
That'll do it.
You know he's coming
Yeah.
next year, along with my cousins that have been
Right.
talking about coming forever. Oh, yeah, we're coming.
Your parents have great genes, then. I mean, they got to be real proud of their sons. Really. I mean, both.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, we're
successful guys.
Yeah, well, there's 5 of us.
Okay.
I got 2 sisters and 2 brothers, and the 2 brothers are from another mother. So, but that was never a thing. So, but
I have a half brother as well, and it's
Yeah.
no.
well,
not a thing
especially
either.
where I grew up, we grew up together, and it's I'm the big brother. So,
It's weird for me to even describe him as a half brother, as I just did.
talking about
Yeah.
that like I did is
Yeah.
a thing. It's a weird thing,
You
but it explains why I'm here and they're not.
Right.
So,
Well, how did that come to be? I mean, what led you to come to America and specifically Kansas City?
I got duped.
Oh. It happens, man.
Right. So my stepdad is from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He met my mom in England. They were both working for the same company. They got married when I was 12. When I was 16, he got a job offer here in Kansas City, and so they talked about moving. Basically, they moved here to Kansas City, and at the time, I didn't want to come at the time. Obviously, you're 16 years old. I was playing music with my dad 4 times a week at the time. I was playing drums for him, and that's where my whole life was. Family, massive family.
Yeah.
My dad had 4 brothers. So I have a million cousins, and
Gosh, 16 moving away.
right. And my sister was older than me, and she said, "I'm not going." She had a boyfriend, and she's like, "I am not moving." She was dead set on it. So I felt a bit obligated to give it a try at least. And I told my mum, I said, I can't promise anything, but I'll give it a try for you. And my stepdad was not in sales, and they'll be here tonight, so I'm going to probably give him some crap. But he should have been in sales, because when he was selling me on Kansas City, all he did was show reruns of Baywatch.
Wait a minute.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
But so, 16-year-old kid.
it'll be on TV in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's what you meant.
Right.
So I think that was a big selling point, and obviously that was an issue when I got here. I remember flying into Kansas City. We changed planes in Chicago. We're flying into Kansas City, and the captain's like, "Oh yeah, put your seat backs up and put your seat belts on. We're final descent into Kansas City." And I'm looking out, and we're descending. I'm thinking, we're crash landing in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
He's
right.
lying to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
There's literally nothing.
And what month was this?
This
Oh,
was,
it's- yeah, that's right.
no. The first time was when I was 16, and I honestly I don't remember. I couldn't tell you what month that was.
Okay, no
So
worries.
this
It
was
wasn't-
not the official.
No.
time. Okay.
So you see where I'm going with this. I didn't last.
Sorry, I'm gonna just. that's
You didn't
driving
last
me
the
nuts.
first time.
I didn't. I gave it a go.
Uh-huh.
I gave it a go, and I came over here and that bugging you.
Sorry.
His OCD has
Yeah.
reared its head.
I
I'm surprised it didn't bother me. I didn't even notice until
I
you just did
didn't.
that.
I didn't either.
But I know when I'm watching it
Thanks,
back on the
sorry.
video, it's like, oh my God, why didn't you sit?
So,
Yes.
okay, sorry about that.
So the first time, I think I was here for like 7 months, something like that. But I met some really cool people. I got a job at Burger King, your 16-year-old self.
Yeah.
And I met some really cool people around my age. And my longest friend, Amy, that I met back then, was fantastic with me. She introduced me to her family and everything. Introduced me to MTV. What was the other one? In Living Color. And Jerry Springer. Yeah.
Good enough.
So
That's all you need.
That's what it's all about. Okay,
Yeah.
so Amy's going to be here tonight on the front row.
Oh wow, you've got
her
so
husband.
this is a big. This is
The reunion.
right. That's
yeah,
great.
So I've
That's
known
great.
her for 35 years, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I lasted, like I said, it's about 7 months, and I'm like, it's just not for me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back home and did what I did, and got a lot more experience in life, and I toured, and I did all kinds of things. and then-
Speaking of that, like when did you discover you had musical chops?
Well, my dad is an entertainer. He was a drummer. He was a pit drummer, a jazz drummer, and he taught me he put me on a drum kit when I was 3 years old. So,
Oh,
I mean, I've been playing forever, and I did my first gig when I was 9. It was playing. So we had this club, and they would play bingo on a Sunday, and my dad hooked me up with a friend of his. Son was a keyboard player, an organ player actually, you know, with the 2 keys and the bass pedals and all that.
Yeah.
And so in between doing the bingo calls, they'd have a break and we'd play, and that was my,
Hey,
my
whatever-
Sunday
whatever you can do.
afternoon 9-year-old gig. So
A 9.
I was
Gosh,
9 years old.
okay.
Yeah, doing that. I was 9, he was 11. I remember that, and then he moved away, so we stopped doing that. But yeah, I've been playing ever since.
now what about the voice? When did you discover you could sing?
I was probably about 14 when I started doing some backup vocals for my dad. Originally, he would play from the kit and sing from the kit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I finally pushed him off. You know, he would take me out, and I would get up there periodically. Finally, I just kicked him off. You know, and I would go to the bar gigs, which I shouldn't have been doing, but you know, and eventually I was playing a lot, and his keyboard player. Eventually, I think I was 15, said, you know what, you need to sing. You need to sing a couple of songs. And she said, I got a couple of great songs that would suit your voice. And she came up with Take Good Care of My Baby by Bobby V. I don't know if you know that one. The other one was Groovy Kind of Love, Phil
Okay.
Collins.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did that, and
Now, did you ever get any formal vocal training, or was it just you just had it and?
no, and I probably should have, but I didn't. And luckily enough, I've been able to pick stuff up.
Right.
And
Well, YouTube's a fantastic resource.
what's that?
YouTube is a fantastic resource.
Well, my dad's a phenomenal singer.
and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And drummer.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, it's amazing the kind of
Gosh.
things you can just pick up
yeah.
by studying somebody.
And I was doing it so much that, you know, I'm still learning today. Though I mean, I'm constantly trying to figure things out and do things better. So
Well,
Right.
You do it great. You
Well,
do it
thank you.
great. Hey. So Phil Collins has been, I mean, since you started singing in a band, he's been a thing. He's been part of that.
yes,
That's great.
yeah. But I there was a period, time period where I kind of went away from, you know, my dad would go away for the summers and do his drumming and this, that, and the other, and he would send me to his old instructor, to his jazz drummer, and I'd go do that. And honestly, at that age, I just wanted to be a kid. You know, you get to 11, 12 years old, you just want to go do stuff.
Right.
And so I kind of I got away from it, like mentally a little bit. And it wasn't till what was it? Phil Collins did the whole Live Aid thing.
Okay.
I was 13 when that happened.
Yeah.
And that's when I became a fan of Phil. And it wasn't because of anything that he did on stage. It wasn't because he was singing He did In the Air Tonight, and I think he did Against All Odds maybe on the piano.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was everything to do with the fact that he was playing in London, getting on Concorde, flying to Philadelphia, and playing again. Me and my friends watched the
Isn't that
entire
incredible?
thing, and I just thought this guy was a god.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so-
remember it. I remember it. I was
mean-
watching it for Led Zeppelin, of course, when they did their reunion thing.
Well, and
Still.
Queen were
And Queen,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Black
you
Sabbath.
haven't had the opportunity to ever meet him in person, have you?
No, and I, you know, fingers crossed sometime. I hope
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I think he's living in Switzerland now. So.
But
Okay.
you've only been doing this since what, 2018?
2018 was
Phil
our first
Phil.
show at Midland Theatre.
Okay.
And how'd that come about? Were you just like, okay, it's time. Let's just get a band together.
No, well, I big Phil fan, obviously, and as time went on, actually, when I came here the first time, but seriously, had come out at that time, and you're a young kid. You don't know what to do. Your emotions are all over the place. And I would play it but seriously over and over again. And so I became even a bigger fan of his. But as time went on, I just started incorporating In the Air Tonight into the early version of Casey Groove Therapy.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Great band.
So I was doing that, and there's another guy in town that does. You might know him, Freddie Francis.
Yes,
So-
of course,
yeah.
yes.
Well, he'd done sound for me a couple of times, and he came to me asking me to do a David Bowie tribute with his band.
Okay.
And he asked me to do the Who, and it
That's
kept coming
Freddie.
out-
He's the tribute guy in
Yeah,
town.
he is.
and
he
I
is.
just I'm like, you know what? That's just not me, man. I'm not like I'm not going to dress up, first of all.
He's like, he's a British dude. We got to get him. He's the guy.
yeah. That wasn't me anyway, and I love Freddie to death, but I just didn't want to do that. And I said to him, I said, if I do a tribute at any point, it's going to be Phil.
Yeah.
We're very much alike. We have a similar background.
Heck yeah.
We're both 5'6", with a receding hairline, less than average looks. It works. You know what I mean? I don't have to do much. So
and
The
you got an
costume
incredible
is
voice.
just
the
like
costume,
very.
I show up and I'm good to go.
Well.
So he was interested in doing that at first, but he had a lot going on in his band. He went to his band and they're like, well, that's a lot to learn. So it just didn't happen. But I decided after talking about it that was something I was going to do. But I realized that I didn't want to just do a tribute band that could go play at a bar or something. I wanted to be go big or go home type of thing.
Hey, that ain't no kidding. Especially tonight, man. It's obvious.
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah, so I actually, one of the first calls I made was to my good friend Steve Paddock, who I've been playing.
Steve. Should we bring him
Yeah,
over?
yeah,
Hey.
come over here,
Steve, come on over.
Yeah.
We just happen to have an extra
Oh
microphone.
my gosh.
For the first time, we're using our
Oh,
fourth
for-
microphone.
Before
Our
he gets on
fourth
the microphone, I just apologize.
He is unmuted now.
Oh Lord,
He's unmuted.
this could be bad.
You want to check how you sound there?
That's really loud,
Is that too loud?
extraordinarily loud.
Check. Can you hear me?
Why don't you want to say something?
Check 1, 2. Now, yeah, I can sort of hear that. Check. Check 1. That sounds wonderful.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
There we go.
So Stevie Paddock.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Can't Say Nights, the podcast.
I heard what you guys were talking about, and the thing is, when I decided to put together a Phil Collins tribute, I said, who do I know who's under 5'7",
Who's adequate?
who's losing his hair,
Here we go.
and definitely has less than average looks? I knew just the guy.
Okay, mute.
Horrible.
So, mute
Yeah.
immediately.
You're off now. So
No.
you guys have known each other how long now?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
the 30 that you've been here.
So
Yeah.
So we'd done another project before Casey Groove Therapy. Steve was, I begged Steve to be in the Casey Groove Therapy after I'd got it going with somebody else, and I needed a keyboard player, and he's like, well, maybe I could do one, maybe two, help you out, but I'm too busy. And then he did one. It was at American Royal was our first gig.
Okay.
The barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so after that, he's like, you know what? Maybe I could do another one. And so we ended up with like 5.5 years, something like that. Yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah, doing that. And then Steve was like, your daughter was going to school, wasn't she? And you wanted some time.
I had a lot of stuff going on. My mom was aging, and so anyway, I stepped away for a little bit. But I had told Terry, night after night with Groove Therapy, when we'd finished playing In the Air Tonight, at the next break or whatever, I'd say, if you ever, and I did do that. If you ever wanted to, you'd be perfect for it.
No kidding.
And so
Yeah.
it incubated for years, because that act with me in it was from 08 to 13, and we didn't actually put the show together till 17, 18. So
Okay.
so anyway, once that kind of ripened and bubbled up to the top again, I agree with what Terry said earlier. We wanted to do this thing full tilt. We didn't want to have piped in horns or
Yeah.
not have dedicated backup vocalists. We basically wanted to emulate the look and the feel and the sound of a live Phil Collins show. And it's funny because Terry, we talked about listening to But Seriously, which is a 1989 album. It's the one that has Another Day in Paradise and Something Happened on the Way to
After
Heaven.
No Jacket Required.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct. It
okay.
was the next one after that. So some would say, it was post peak, but it had a lot of hits, and it was probably his most refined, complete production. I'd say, But Seriously was kind of like Phil's equivalent to Steely Dan's Asia.
Oh, my. Okay, yeah,
It was the
okay.
one that was the highest
I'm gonna have to listen to
produced
that.
and had the most complete production on it. So anyway, we wanted to emulate that tour, the 1989, 1990 band, with those personnel, and those arrangements and so on. Now, once we got the thing started,
Well, it was the what I was watching before thinking about what I'm going to do. It was the 2004 Finally Farewell tour,
Okay.
and that what I saw on stage is what I envisioned that I wanted to do. Now it was a massive, 2 drum kits, percussion. He had 4 backup singers, 4 horns, and the guitar. Everybody. That's what I wanted. I'm like, oh, that's a lot. How am I going to pay everybody? First of all, he's not cheap.
but I'm reasonable.
Are you though?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
So the very first show at the Midland replicated that tour. We had 4 backup
Wow,
singers.
so that was a
4
big
horns.
stage setup. Gosh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Keep going. You had
Well, I mean, we just had 4, and then the rest of the band. We've dwindled down to 2,
okay.
which is all you need.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then 3 horns. And sometimes we go with 2 horns. But this is what you saw tonight at
Holy
Soundcheck.
moly! And how that sounded outstanding. Man.
Yep.
It's a big sound.
Yeah.
And especially in a place like this where they've got the big sound setup,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, so
you,
that's gonna be
this is
great.
what it was built for. By the
So,
way,
how many
Yeah.
Kansas City-based gigs do you do in a year versus touring?
We'll do 3 or 4 in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Try to space them out. We don't want to get overexposed,
Sure.
I guess. And part of what makes us successful in Kansas City is we have a huge following, not just for the Phil Collins experience, but people that follow Casey Groove Therapy and what other other projects that other people in the
Yeah.
band have. And you don't want to wear them out. So
Right.
we will probably, I would say 3 is kind of the sweet spot.
Yes.
Early in the year and then in the summertime maybe, and then around the holidays.
So we've talked off camera about your Puerto Rico. Did we already cover that earlier?
We kinda
Or-
talked about
I'm
it at the
sorry.
beginning,
I'm so, yeah,
when
yeah,
you were
I was fiddling
No,
around.
but I mean, that was a big show. We can talk about that again. That was
yeah,
a
I
big,
gave you
big
my
show.
perspective. What did you think about Puerto Rico?
What you said, a lot of the things that were interesting about it. It's an old facility that the city and the government for Puerto Rico uses for a variety of different events,
Festivals and-
festivals
yeah.
and stuff like that. But they have concerts there periodically, and it's open air. It's a big square open air facility. And it's just awesome when you first walk in. It's almost overwhelming. It seats about 1,500 or so, 1,600 maybe a little more if it's a standing room only. One of the bigger venues that we played in, not the biggest show, but one of the bigger venues. And of course, just the spice and the novelty of doing this in Puerto Rico was blowing us all away. And then, as Terry said, just as the sun was going down, the power went out in a large part of San Juan, which apparently happens all the time. And the production people anticipated it and had generators for both the sound and lighting. So as day turned to night, everything was emanating from the stage. All the light, all the sound, all the movement was us radiating out into this room of people that were otherwise in darkness. It was just
And
fantastic.
they didn't mind a bit.
Yeah.
They didn't
I
mind a
bet they
bit.
ate that up.
Yeah.
Ate that up. And
The,
drank.
the place, if you can imagine it, is just you're surrounded by walls, different levels. You'll go up and there'll be walkways and stepping up like this, and then just open air. the sound was absolutely phenomenal.
So you'd recommend that for any other Kansas City band who has the opportunity to do a
Don't
show?
say no. Don't say
Yeah,
no.
do it.
Definitely
Do
don't
it.
say no.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you've got the residency upcoming in Laughlin, Nevada. That's a great thing right there. How many nights?
You know what the good thing is there?
5 nights.
We set up one time and sound check one time, and then we play all week. So
What's
Yeah.
part of it? Where's Lawton at in relation
Laughlin?
to Laughlin?
It's-
So picture Nevada. You know how it goes to a point at the very
Where
bottom.
Vegas
At
is.
that point, it's Arizona's right there.
Oh,
It's
so
right
it's
on the river.
close to Vegas.
It's about an
Hour and
hour and a
20.
half
Oh, okay.
maybe from Vegas.
Okay.
But it's down kind of in the southern part of Nevada, right on the Colorado River. I think it's the Colorado River. And Arizona's like on the other side of the river.
And how did you score that? Real quick, just
Our agent, we have an agent that
Okay.
is out there shopping us,
And-
So,
Well-
so before we wrap up, because
Yeah.
we are on a truncated
apologize.
time.
No,
it's
no, no, no,
okay.
we're
It's
so
perfectly
happy
fine.
to-
We're happy that we
Yeah.
were able to have the time we did have. So
Yeah.
it's been already 30. Believe it or not, it's already been 30 minutes.
Well, and I didn't know if you know this, but I know you've done a podcast with Bruce Haley.
Yes.
right.
And I know that you weren't doing the cameras back then too, which is probably a good thing.
We had the cameras for Bruce.
We did for that.
Did
yeah.
you?
Yeah, we didn't
Oh, they
have
must have
the
broke as well.
first 4 shows. The first 4 shows. Then we got to Bruce. Bruce is on camera.
Well, Bruce was my first bass player for
Yes,
this band.
I saw that. Well, I was just
Okay.
I just looked up the photos I took of you guys when you played 2019, the Town Center Plaza street parking
Right.
lot show. Yeah, and I said, hey, that's Bruce. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I love Bruce.
But before we wrap up, say the word aluminum for everybody. Your manager mentioned something about
Did he?
yes.
Yeah. Some other
Well,
words.
He says he can't even pronounce it the way you do.
it's aluminium,
Aluminium.
How about Jaguar?
Jaguar.
All right.
Yeah, no.
You know.
So the funny thing is, my grandson's going to be here tonight, my 6-year-old, and the first thing he wants to do is argue with me about tomato, aluminium, all that
That's a
stuff.
hard
it.
argument there.
Yeah, so
Did you have
Steve-
sound of Steve?
Before we ring off, the main thing I want to say about Terry, which you wouldn't see in a sound check, but if you guys stick around tonight,
they'll be here.
you'll see it. The thing that blows me away the most and makes me the most humbled and proud to work with this guy is his ability to break through the fourth wall and just spray charisma all around the room.
Yeah,
People,
I agree.
People are so enraptured by Terry's personality. Yes, his voice and his movements on stage, but there's something about the soul of him that really reaches out to people in the audience, and that's what makes this act the most
Yeah.
memorable. The horns are great, the vocalists are great, the keyboardist is fabulous. But I gotta tell you,
Yeah, he kicks ass.
it's the joy and the commitment and the ability of this guy that makes the difference.
And with that, that's a
Yeah.
perfect way
Real
to wrap
quick,
this
though,
up.
I'm
Okay.
so sorry. Kansas City's so lucky to have you.
Thank
As
you so much. I
Casey
appreciate
Groove
that.
Therapy, which
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
And to Phil Collins' experience, we're so lucky. It's just like Elton Dan.
Yep.
We're so lucky that we
Yeah.
got that. I know he's moved on, but man, we are just, you're a gem for
Well,
Kansas City.
I am only a product of the people I surround myself with, and I do surround myself with some phenomenal people.
Yeah.
Well-
Even this guy.
Well,
Yeah.
let's sit down for a proper longer session
With a pint.
Well, yeah, there
with
you
a
go.
pint or
With
two.
a pint.
There you go.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is
man.
Kansas City Nights.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for your time, generosity with us. Steve, I guess.
Yeah.
No, Steve.
guess.
Thank you for being with
I
us.
guess.
Hey, absolutely our pleasure. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Hey, Kansas City Nights. Check us out.
Cheers.